with this final presentation on Islam, we're just going to give some sort of overall quick overview of some of the major cultural contributions that you're going to need to be able to identify. We're really not going to go too in depth with these. Islam really isn't a big component of the Cambridge program. However, you're going to need to know it for tests and the SOL. So let's just take a look. All right, starting off with a map. You got the Byzantine Empire. Down here is Mecca and Medina in the Arabian Peninsula. Okay, this is 565. This is during Muhammad's lifetime. Okay, you fast forward, and this is what we see. We see the start down here, and then the eventual spread during the Umayyads, and then later who moved the capital, remember, to Damascus, Syria, and then you have the rise of the Abbasid Caliphate, and then they're going to expand it even further. Okay? You get multiple cities of culture and science and study, Islamic centers. And very importantly, whether you're talking about Baghdad, Cairo, Damascus, Alexandria, you are also going to see the spread of the Arabic language. Remember, that's a key component to the early beginnings of Islam. They had these beliefs of other religions, but they didn't have it in their own native tongue or language. And the Quran, of course, given to Muhammad by the angel Gabriel, it is in his own language. They almost become, in many respects, the heirs to this Hellenistic style that we start to see in decline because of the decline of the Byzantines. You see the creation of mosques, palaces, minarets. Oftentimes, these structures mirror that of Rome or Byzantium. If you think back when they eventually conquer Constantinople, you have the great Christian cathedral of the Hagia Sophia commissioned by Justinian to be built. Well, it's simply replaced, and it becomes an Islamic mosque. And the added architectural structure, and you see it's very common in Islamic structures even to this day, are minarets, these small cylindrical columns that are sort of these almost freestanding going up structures. Okay? Art, we're going to take a look at this in class. You see the use of geometric patterns. Islam, as they expand eastward throughout the Persian Empire, are going to come into contact with India and are going to develop those advanced mathematical systems. Calligraphy as an art form, which we're going to take a look at. Metalwork in class. It's a very stylized system of writing that makes objects that are written look like shapes. It's very cool. And metalworking as well. Education. You have the House of Wisdom. It's the early university in Baghdad. Remember, under Al-Razi, it becomes this huge center of culture and learning. So it makes sense. You have translated text from the Greek, from Indian sources, and from Persian as well into the native Arabic. Once again, the spread of this Arabic language, very important. Language, obviously, extremely important. We've been talking about it. Okay, it's the second most popular alphabet in the world today, is the Arabic language. Okay, and it is the only language considered the true word of Allah. The Quran, although we translate it all the time and we read it in different languages, the Quran was originally, perceived as only ever appearing in Arabic form. When you hear the Quran in the native Arabic tongue, whether you know a word of Arabic or not, doesn't matter. It sounds almost like a song does. There's a cadence to it. It's a certain way and a rhyme and meter of saying it that can sound very pleasant to a person's ear. It's like people who inappropriately pause at wrong times during the Pledge of Allegiance in the morning. It just sounds off. Okay, when you translate it, you lose that cadence. Okay, so there's a lot of people that really prefer or would like to see the Quran only in that native Arabic. They are pioneers of medicine as well. Razi authors more than 100 books on medicine. First to diagnose and try to treat smallpox, which can wipe out populations. Ibn Sina utilized experimentation and observation almost like a precursor to the scientific revolution, which occurs about 400 years later. More than that, actually. Wrote the Canon of Medicine. It's an encyclopedia. Okay, so it was the main medical text for the next 6 centuries, not just in the Arabian Peninsula either, throughout most of Europe as well. Mathematics introduced the Arabic numerals, originally from India, replaces the Roman numerals. Okay, we're not using Roman numerals; we're using the Arabic form. Includes the number of 0, made for complex calculations. Perfected the use of decimals and fractions, being able to solve for them, and really are it says invented. They're sort of the modern fathers of what we would call the field of algebra. Now, architecture. Very important. You have the Dome of the Rock. It's the Muslim shrine on the Temple Mount in Jerusalem, in the Holy City, right there. It is to mark the. There we go. We got a picture. It is to mark the location for which Muhammad made his night journey and then ascended into heaven. And of course, like we talked about before, with the major beliefs, receives the 5 pillars of faith. That's about it. Brief overview. Make sure you know them. Be able to discuss them in class. See you next time. You're going to be taking a look at them when you get to class. All right?